What's up, y'all? Welcome to Meat Cranium Barbecue and Review. Today, I'm on vacation, so I have a substitute creator making a video for y'all. That person is Tommy over at the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. Go check him out. This video is exactly tailor-made for the Meat Cranium Barbecue Review channel. This is out-of-the-box thinking. This is deliciousness. This is mind-blowing. You're gonna love it. If y'all have not checked out Tommy over at Gallery Backyard Barbecue, go check him out, and I'll see you at the end. Check this video out. Let's roll.
And this is not Meat Cranium Barbecue and Review. My name's Tommy, and this is the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. First off, I'd like to thank Chris for allowing me to host his show. Today, I'll be taking a big old rack of dino rib, slow smoking it at 275 degrees to toothpick tender. Then I'll take it out, rest it, then we'll wrap it in puff pastry and bake it at over 500 degrees. It's the Dino Rib Wellington coming up next. Alright everybody, my name's Tommy and this is the Gallery Backyard Barbecue. And before we get going, I'd like to thank Chris, a meathead, a Meat Cranium, for inviting me and allowing me to host his show while he takes care of business, right? We got an action-packed show and we got a lot to get to, so let's get busy. And we got a nice 3-bone dino rib. If you've never had these, contact your local butcher or you can send away for a mail order. These are definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And now we do have a little silver skin up top, okay? Unlike the pork ribs or even the smaller beef ribs, we got a silver skin up top, but that we got to get rid of, right? That does us no good. That won't render and it will only block our rub, so that's got to go. And basically what you want to do here is just get in there and tilt your knife forward and up and just saw away, right? Try not to get a lot of meat with it and make sure your knife is sharp, of course. And now you can leave some fat on there, right? That'll render nicely. And on the back, we want to get rid of that chunky fat that does us no good. But we are going to leave the silver skin there to hold the ribs together, right? We'll get rid of that later. Now basically I'm going with a coarse, which is a thick salt, pepper, and garlic, and that's it. You can use your own rub, but I like to keep it simple on this beef ribs. I like the beef to shine through, right? It's a nice beef flavor, and I like to get a good taste of that, of course. And now again on this, on a big piece of meat like that, you want a nice chunky coarse rub, right? You want a thick black pepper and you want a thick salt grain, right? Next up we're going to go with a little garlic powder, and that's it. Now you can use a binder. I chose not to, right? Of course. And you definitely want to get all sides of the beef and a little on the back. Why not? It's not going to do us any good, but I guess it's just a habit, of course. Oh, yeah. There you go. Now on a big slab of beef like this, I like putting that peach butcher paper down, applying my rub, wrapping it up, and letting it sit for a half hour to an hour, right? While I tend to the pit, right? That'll get that salt in there nicely, of course. Oh yeah, that's a good tip with that peach paper, right? Now on the pit, we're going to be running it at a 275 for the whole cook until we darken up our puff pastry, and you'll see that later, right? Now once your pit reaches temperature, you'll unwrap your beef ribs, of course. Oh, yeah, look at that. doctors want to say. Beautiful. And then get them placed in the pit, right? That's easy. Now we're basically going to run this for about an hour, 2 hours, whatever, and give it a little spritz, right? And at that time, what you like to do is check the meat for any hot spots in the grill where maybe it's burning a little bit, and you can turn the beef at that point. Yeah, it's a 2-hour spritz, right? Spritzing. Now I'm just using a apple juice broken down with a little water, probably a 50-50 spritz. I've used a Dr. Pepper, I've used a Coke, you could use anything you'd like, right? Just be careful with the amount of sugars in the spritz that you will put on it, because maybe it will burn, of course. He said 50 apple juice. He said 50 spritz. Now the one good thing with these Pit Boss verticals is that glass, right? I get to peek right through that glass and see what's doing. Oh yeah, I like that. And what's doing is we are looking mighty fine. And we're looking to be about a 1:55, so I know we got about another, we'll just say about another half hour to 45 minutes. And we're at the 3.5 hour mark, and we will do a little spritz, right? You want to keep that meat nice and moist, of course, as you develop your bark. Right, and as you can see, we are at the 4 hour mark, and we are 165 degrees. And wow, that's where you want to be right before you wrap up the beef. Now you can run it straight through without wrapping it up, but I like to wrap it up, so I wrap it. Got a nice even burn on all sides of the beef, and that's what you want. We got nice pullback on those bones in 4 hours. Yeah. And you can see that large grain of pepper and salt forming nicely, right? That is all flavor. Oh, that's good stuff right there. Good stuff. Oh my God, look at the color. Now, right, and basically here, because of its big beef of beef, I am going to use a tin foil and a peach butcher paper. And I am going with a Worcestershire sauce, a little Worcestershire sauce, and I'll use a little teriyaki sauce. Now you can not put anything in there, but I'm going for a good steam inside because I want those bones to come right off to prepare my puff pastry, right? So that's the way I'm going to roll. Now, when you wrap this sucker up, you want to get a nice tight wrap. You don't want anything leaking through, so whatever you got to do to get that is what you got to do. I'm using a couple sheets of aluminum foil, and I'll even use 2 pieces of peach butcher paper, right? You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Of course. Here you go. That's good stuff. That's no big deal. That's no big deal. That's good. That's good stuff. All right, now you can probe this with a thermometer to monitor your temperature, but I choose to check it every half hour or so. That's no big deal. I know we're looking at about another 2 hours here. Now we want to take that meat all the way up between 200 and 205, otherwise known as a toothpick tender, right? Toothpick tender, of course. And we are moving nicely. We are at the 5 hour mark and we are 180 degrees, right? Oh yeah, we are, of course. And as you can see, we still got a little resistance in that meat. You want that beef, a toothpick tender, right? Toothpick tender. That's a toothpick. You want it to move through that beef like a butter. He said like butter. We are at the 6 hour mark, and as you can see, we are approximately 191 degrees. And I like to pull it over 200, right? So we got about another hour. All right, and we are moving along quite nicely. Alrighty, and as you can see, we are 203 degrees, so we are ready to rock and roll and get this beef off and get it rested. And as you can see, we're also probing like butter. That thing comes out no problem. Oh yeah. All right, and what I like to do here is I like to wrap it in a couple sheets, right? And I like to get it in the oven to rest for at least an hour to 2, right? You could use a cooler if you'd like. It's no big deal. And you want all those juices to settle, right? Whoops, got a little stuff. It's no big deal. And a bing, a bang, a boom, just like that. 2 hours, and we got a total of 9 hours into this cook, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be well worth it. He said, bing, bang, boom, right? Now be careful here, because that beef is still hot. There we go. Now from here, what we want to do is we want to get that on the board, right? Because we want to remove those bones, right? If we left those bones in and tried to wrap it with puff pastry, it'll only poke through, right? So they gotta go. And notice that large grain of salt and pepper. Wow. Oh, man. All right, as you can see, well, those bones come right out, don't they? Oh, man, that looks so good. Oh, man. Oh. I mean, it don't get much easier than that, right? You got that right. Perfect. Alrighty, and from there what I like to do is get a sheet of peach butcher paper down, flour it up, and get that we'll get those puff pastry squares on there, right? This makes for easy cleanup, right? So a pro tip for Chris, of course. Now, because the size of this beef, you're going to probably use a whole sheet. If this was the regular beef Wellington with a filet mignon, you'd use a quarter of that now, wouldn't you? And from there you want the good side down, right? Because that's the side that's going to be up. And what I'm going to do here is just, well, I'm going to get rid of some of that grizzle and some of that silver skin and fat on the bottom. That'll do us no good, right? So that stuff has got to go. And rest assured, my Molly Sunshine will be eating good tonight. Right? That's my little black lab, of course. And you can see that stuff just cuts off like butter. Alrighty, from there you want to just kind of fold it in, right? You're going to seal the beef up in the puff pastry, right? Just be careful not to rip it if you can. If you do, no big deal. It's okay. And as you can see, I got that little hole, so I'm just going to flap another piece on there. Again, no big deal. I'll move that onto a tray, right? There you go. And we'll get that brushed down with some melted butter, right? You could use butter, or you could use an egg, right? Either or. Now a little trick here on those little flaps. If you put a little butter on there, well, that'll work as like a glue, and that'll hold that together. There you go. And now I'm just going to put a couple stragglers on top, right? I like to pick at these things after it's cooked, so that's what I'm going to do. So you'll go 450 to 500 on the pit until you're browned, and that'll probably take about 15-20 minutes, but keep a good eye on it, right? And one cool thing about the Pit Boss vertical is you got that glass, right? So I could just peek in there. I know what's going on. And there you go. We're about, I think it was about 16-17 minutes, and you could see we're ready to come off, of course. And there it is. Wow. I can tell you that is packed with juice and packed with flavor. Oh yeah, here we go. And let's have a look. And you can see we got a pretty decent smoke ring, and wow. This is taking beef ribs right up to the next level. You serve this to your family, and you are looking like a king. And what I like to do here is do about 1/2-inch slices, right? Wow. I would think 2 slices per person will do you. And you could see that, well, you could see that moisture inside that meat, that where that fat rendered, that is packed with flavor. Wow. can see that meat is a pull apart tender. Right? Of course it is. Good stuff. Now listen, how I like to serve this, like I said, is a good 1/2 inch slices. 2 slices per person should do you, right? I'm serving this with a little cornbread, right? Homemade cornbread, and some slaw also. And as you can see, that smoke ring is looking pretty good, right? Oh yeah, man. That's good stuff. Okay, and as I bow out of this video, those who stuck it through, I want to thank you. I also want to thank Chris at Meat Cranium Barbecue and Review. That is a barbecue and review, for allowing me to host his show, right? I hope you enjoyed watching. We had a lot of fun. This was well, look, this was a good cook. All right, this was a different cook. This is something definitely I would try. And until next time, we shall see you soon.
Wasn't that not the most mind-blowing thing that you've ever seen? That was amazing. Anyhow, y'all go check out Tommy over at Gallery Backyard Barbecue. And I'll see y'all next week. There'll be another creator on this channel, on my channel. For next week, there'll be somebody else with another video. It's going to be Rico, it's going to be Fred over at Learn to Barbecue. It's be one of those guys, or maybe somebody else. I might get somebody else to do another video. All right, so anyhow, like, subscribe. I'll see you next week.